sometimes you bring me like weird stuff.
Mhm.
Sometimes the stuff you bring me is just like so bafflingly like awe-inspiring that I don't have words to explain it. Like this video, for example.
Yep.
I didn't think of something like this were even possible
Mhm.
until I saw it.
Like, the thing is, as you guys can tell by the title of the video...
No, let's not
No.
talk too much because...
No,
Yeah.
there's something I want to say.
Mm.
Recently, I love the memes, but can't run Doom. Like, I love those memes. How people have made Doom be playable on calculators, on toasters, on, like, something you wouldn't expect to run a game. However, this guy, from scratch, like, the video will be in the description. He went above and beyond.
You say that again.
Above and fucking beyond.
Okay, not literally. That's just a phrase, you know?
This is the single greatest achievement of my life to date. As Gutenberg with his press or Eiffel with his tower, I have brought forth my genius upon the world. But you shouldn't be impressed because I spent 600 hours and 5 months making a Pong clone. You should be impressed because it's running on a computer that is itself running inside of the game Terraria.
Yep.
When he said that, my jaw dropped to the floor. Legit, like you know those Orlo the Looney Tunes sounds where like his jaw drops like an anvil. That was my jaw. Like,
Do you want to know the backstory of how I found this video?
sure,
I was doom scrolling like
of course.
a few days ago,
Yeah.
maybe a week.
Even though we made a video, they shouldn't do
Yep,
that.
exactly. At around 3 a.m., I saw a reel on Instagram about Can I Play Doom? And someone just wrote in the comments, why is this so shocking? A guy literally made a computer in Terraria. And I was like, there's not, no fucking way. No fucking way. I got out of my bed at 3 fucking a.m. got on my fucking computer just to research how hard it is to make this. Even though he explains it, I was like, no, I have to do a fucking research to make sure this is hard. Honestly, this is the future of physics, of fucking computer sciences. Like, it's not some nerds in their fucking science labs, like, oh, actually? It's people like this who are breaking, this is literally breaking the fourth wall. You're making a computer inside a computer. Like, what's next? AI inside AI? Like, this is so...
I mean, now that you mention it,
This is so mind-boggling, dude. I fucking love it. I fucking
yeah,
love
I'm
it.
curious to find out more. 'Cause
Mhm.
I haven't even watched it. He's the one who's watched this. This is my first time watching this. So let's just see the scope of this machine. Because he pans out the video from like the first minute that I saw.
Around 5 months ago, I was playing Terraria for a few hours and I was getting a bit bored, so I decided to try out the wiring system on a whim. Here's a simple example. Whenever you flip the switch, a signal is passed through the red wire that opens and closes the door. It's the same for turning on and off the candle. Each different color of wire acts independently, so if we cross the red and blue wire, they just ignore each other. The most basic building block of how computers are implemented is the logic gate. These are tiny individual units that take in several inputs and emit an output based on some very simple logic. Computers are made by extensive combinations of these gates. Terraria has some traditional logic gates such as AND and OR, but for complicated and frustrating timing reasons, these are ridiculously hard to work with. Instead, for my computer, I exclusively use a different type of gate that looks like this. There are 3 parts in each of these gates: the input, the state, and the output.
I'm always amazed by the people who did the redstone technology in Minecraft.
Yep.
This,
Like, no,
That's-
just redstone by itself, it's was pretty cool in Minecraft and hard to learn. But the mods for it, the mods got way deeper and expanded so much on it.
yeah, but you know what's the thing? it always takes someone to start it.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, this guy made the computer that we had like 60 years ago. Imagine how much this can improve, even though it's restricted by, you know, the laws of the game. Imagine how much people can tweak this, can fucking improve it and everything like that. First of all, he showed in the original video that he played just a little bit of Terraria, around 8,000 hours, you know, nothing too special. And he got bored, so he decided to do something like this. My question is, how much free fucking time do you need to have?
Enough.
I mean, he said 5 months, so like, this is so impressive that every single time I start up the game, I feel so stupid for struggling to cut something or to fucking mine something or to find something. Like, there's people who are doing this. That's so
for
fucking
fun. For fun, mind you, for fun.
Exactly.
Like, it isn't out of necessity. It's for fun. Like, just wakes up that day and is like, you know, I'm gonna make a computer.
This is like, imagine Da Vinci or someone being like, you know what, being a scientist is cool. I'm gonna start doing it for fun. Like, he did not even try to, like, he just woke up and he was like, you know what, I'm not getting anything out of this. Probably people won't even recognize me. Let's fucking do it. Like, this is a genius. This guy is a fucking genius.
Whenever a switch is used to trigger the input, if the state is on, then the output emits a signal. Otherwise, nothing happens. For instance, you can see that the door only opens and closes if the state wire is on. In real-world circuits, when a circuit is on, it stays on, but in Terraria, everything is just sent in pulses. This means it behaves completely differently, and a lot of traditional circuits have to be redesigned in this new paradigm. You might think that we're just getting started, but that's it. The entirety of the in-game CPU exclusively uses these gates in various different convoluted configurations, and absolutely nothing else. The complexity comes from the different ways that these logic gates can interact with each other. To give you an idea of how we can make interesting mechanisms from these seemingly simple building blocks, imagine chaining two of these gates together. When the input triggers, it checks the first state. If that's activated, then it triggers the next gate, which checks the other state.
I'm curious if this is a mod or not, because I haven't played Terraria in a long time, and I know they added a lot of new things in.
Do you want spoilers?
Sure.
This is not modded. Later on, like, he uses mods to replicate something. Later on, he creates his own mod to make it even simpler.
Oh yeah? Okay then, if you want something done, do it yourself.
And the best thing is, he put the mod online so anyone can access it if they want to improve or do something else.
Hell nice.
So that's what
Respect,
I'm saying, like,
massive respect.
this guy, fucking genius.
If you think about it, we've just created the world's least secure combination lock. All we have to do is change the direction of the switches and hide the gates from the user. And now, only a single combination will allow entrances. The length of the code can be extended by just chaining together more of these. Back to when I was trying these gates for the first time, as I was playing around with them, I started getting really excited. Just by tinkering around with these things, I was able to get many basic, real-world circuits working that are in every computer, like adders and multiplexers. Making an actual computer with them was the obvious next step, but that's a massive jump in complexity from what I had. So I decided to spend the next 2 weeks putting in an unhealthy amount of hours making a prototype. This culminated in a functional, albeit simple, prototype computer. Here you can see it calculating the Fibonacci numbers. The A register shows the current value in the sequence, and B holds the next, both in binary. I've displayed the decimal versions below. To understand how it works, let's talk a bit about how computers work on the inside.
Honestly, he could have left it at that. Like, leave it at that. It's still gonna be super impressive. Just, you know, it's a prototype, it's working, be like, nah, this was my goal all along. Nah, I'm gonna show you how big my fucking balls are. That's what this guy did.
This all seems pretty abstract, but you can see exactly this layout in my prototype. There's enough memory for 32 instructions, each 8 bits long. There's an ALU, which executes arithmetic instructions, such as addition, and it reads and writes to a pair of registers labeled A and B. Most other stuff is the control unit. Of course, it's not obvious how breaking it down this way actually helps anything. All we've done is take one hard problem and converted it into 5 other also hard problems. It feels like trying to cure yourself of syphilis by infecting yourself with malaria. It seems crazy, like we're getting nowhere, but it actually somehow works. A lot of computer science is basically that though, breaking hard problems into more manageable chunks. Unlike the open-ended task of building a computer, each of these units have very well-defined inputs and outputs. For example, to make a circuit that adds two numbers, we know the exact rules that govern addition, and we just have to get clever in how we hook up the gates to match these rules, just like how we did for the combination lock earlier. This is a compact circuit to add two 1-bit numbers. There were a lot of problems with this first prototype, as expected. Remember how I mentioned that only this specific kind of logic gate should be used? Making this prototype was where I realized why the other ones don't work, but not before some extensive cranial agitation on my part for a few days. The instruction set I used was custom made and very limited. I was literally adding new operation codes on a spreadsheet when I implemented it. For my full-scale computer, I wanted to implement a real-world instruction set. I don't have time to go into exactly what this means, but it's a massive difference that enables most of what I've done here. But it involves far more work ensuring complete compliance to a strict standard. Finally, performance-wise, my prototype was pathetic. My target for the full computer was 100 kilobytes of memory and far faster running speeds.
Far more complicated is an under-fucking statement, dude. It's an understatement.
Yeah.
This guy is so humble. And his fucking, what's it called? His funny bone is way too big.
I'm just looking at the pause page, you know, my mind is blank. This is way beyond my brain cells capacity.
Right?
They ain't built for these streets.
Right?
These streets are not built for my brain.
Yeah, like, you and I joke that we're stupid all the time. Yeah. Now I don't even know if it's a joke anymore after seeing something like this.
Yeah.
At this point, I had a plan for the full-scale project, now I just needed to implement it. Building the full computer took a long time, like a really long time. There are mods and editors that enable some copy and paste functionality, but any kind of circuitry that isn't exactly copied has to be redone by hand. All in all, this took around 3 months of active development, and along the way, I learned a huge amount about digital logic and CPU design. Surprisingly, spending 3 months playing Terraria has improved my career prospects.
I'm just... I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say at this point. That's just...
I wanted to have a reaction about this video just because it's how fucking amazing it is. That's the only reason. Just because how fucking amazing it is. I knew that you and I would be so fucking dumbfounded that we don't know what to say.
But this is a good kind of dumbfounded, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not even mad that this is happening. It's just
right now I feel
wow.
like this is a Sniper Wolf reactions.
Yeah. Yeah, but she just doesn't say anything. We're actually dumbfounded. We physically can't speak.
As someone that, and you know this, I love Terraria, even though I haven't played it in a long time. I've tried to do shit with wiring. It's hell to do basic shit more than just opening the door, what he showed. Doing something a little bit more complex, at least for me, you need to do at least 10 minutes of research to make it work.
Yeah.
If you have to connect more than 10 wires, you have to fucking find a way on the internet to explain it.
Yeah.
Doing this. Honestly, I am fucking gonna be pissed if the creators of Terraria don't put him as an NPC or something. Make him a final boss. Make him a final boss or something, man.
He deserves it.
After all that though, I had finally done it. I had designed and built a complete computer from scratch in Terraria. To give you a sense of scale, here's the prototype I talked about earlier. Here's how big it is when compared to the real size of the final version.
And now do you see why I was so dumbfounded that I decided to do research? Just because of that.
How the fuck does Terraria fit so much blocks?
That's where his mod comes into play.
Looking back at projects like this in hindsight always gives the sense that things just work perfectly on the first try, but they really, really don't. I wanted to give you a small taste of the pain I experienced debugging this behemoth, so let's look at this circuit for example. You can see the problem, right? No? Well, you can at least tell the difference between the right and wrong version, right? Still no? Okay, fine, let's zoom in a bit. I'm sure now you can see the difference, right? I'll even give you a few seconds. The problem turned out to be that this green wire was the wrong shade of green, which meant that the whole thing worked unpredictably.
Yep.
Dude, he would have to go line by line of wiring just to see. This is so fucking tedious.
Look at the world of IT. Look at the world of IT.
Trust me, in IT, most of the problems aren't like this. It's when people actually try to innovate something in the world of IT. You know, like actual scientists. This is just... I don't have words to fucking explain how impressive this is. Like, this is so fucking impressive.
And I didn't even know where in the world it was. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, except for the needle is hay-shaped in amber rather than the golden yellow that the hay is. Here comes the antagonist in our story though, lag. Imagine you spent months building this monstrous creation, and you excitedly turn it on, and then... Well, that's what would happen if you tried to run it. It turns out, for reasons unbeknownst to me, Terraria, an indie game from over a decade ago, is not particularly well optimized for massive wiring projects the size of an entire world. It's actually really intuitive why it's so slow. When the switch is pressed, just as before, the door should open. Every time the switch is pressed, the game one by one looks at each wire along the way, checks each of its neighbors, and if it has any, tries to go down those as well. It repeats this process all the way through the entire length of the wire. This wire is pretty short, but when your computer is the size of a world, going back and forth across thousands of tiles many times can grind the game engine to a halt. However, if the game just instead remembered every time that this switch corresponded to this door without manually checking each wire in between, the game could run at much more reasonable speeds. There are many other, more complicated optimizations you can also do. All of this logic is set by the developers of Terraria inside the game though, so there's nothing we can do about it. A Terraria computer is just not realistically possible. Or is it? My solution to this problem was just to take it head on and re-implement the game's wiring system. My mod, called Wirehead, takes over and overrides the entire wiring system in Terraria with its own custom version, while keeping the in-game logic identical. The game plays exactly the same, but it is way, way faster. For reference, when running without the accelerator mod, the computer runs at around 0.1 instructions per second. When using the mod, I get around 5,000 instructions per second. To give you an idea of how much faster this is, that's like the difference in speed between a 95-year-old absolutely booking their way across the street and a supersonic Concorde airliner. That's not a metaphorical comparison either. The ratio between their speeds is literally how much my mod speeds up the game.
Like, we're gonna stop reacting to the video right here, just so if you're interested in this, to see the end result, you will go to his fucking video to support him. Fucking leave a like in his video, fucking subscribe to him, because he's
let me
amazing.
do it right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Like,
bro, she deserves it.
I need to subscribe to him from this channel as well.
Yeah.
Like,
God damn.
the guy was like, okay, if no one has made this possible, I'll fucking do it. And honestly, if you are a fan of Terraria, if you fucking love doing like the wiring shit, if you ever try to do something more complex, try his mod. Try his mod. This is not a sponsored video, try everything he fucking has. Even if it's not for Terraria, just check out his whole fucking channel. This guy is a living fucking legend. To me, why I wanted to talk about this video is because more and more like people recently have started to do stuff like this. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Doom, Minecraft, like I can't remember, Pokemon games, stuff like that. People have decided that, you know what, it's time to see how we can make something that's kind of basic, like Pong is the basic, like it's a basic game, right? How we can put it in somewhere where it shouldn't fucking be. And that is so fucking impressive. That makes, like, I'm not even joking this, you can call me fucking crazy or whatever. I have a feeling that in 100 years, people like him will be the reason why we have new technology. People like him and people who try to make Doom run on fucking underwear, like on wrestling fucking underwear.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I am so happy that I stumbled upon this video. This was the best fucking 3-4 a.m. research I have ever done in my fucking life. Do you have something else to add? Because I'm just gonna freak out and be a fangirl.
I'm good. No, I'm still nice. I need time to process.
Again, you dude, if you ever come across this video, we are sorry that we didn't put enough reaction to it, like our own thoughts, but you just blew us away, so we don't have any fucking thoughts. For everyone else, if you really do find people like this amazing, I beg you, go to his channel. As always, we'll see you next time. Peace.